Hey guys, Gio here. Good morning. Oh, what's going on? There we go. Good morning. I'm just going to share this video around a bit on Facebook. We can dive into the conversation. Today, we're going to talk a bit about high dose psilocybin experiences and in lockdown, writing some songs, who to trust, what's going on right now. I don't even know. And I'm trying to figure out a name for these Monday lives. I was thinking about calling it What Do I Know? What do you guys think? What would be a good name just for a random talk every Monday about life, about um, what's going on in the world, any ideas? And also let me know where you're tuning in from. I'd love to see your face, hear your voice, well, see your text. How about that? I'm just going to share this one more time here into a group. Share. All right, good. So, welcome, guys. Monday morning. It is 9:01 here in Toronto. Rainy day. I wonder what's the weather like where you're at. Been following, obviously, like most of us, this whole coronavirus thing, and it looks like the end is near, or the beginning is near of something new. There's still a lot of fear with a lot of people. We actually sent a camera out around Toronto yesterday, just talking to people, trying to get the reactions as to what they were really afraid of, and asking about conspiracy theories that people think are true. Hey, Clarissa. Hey, Trish. Hey, Carol. Um, and some interesting responses that we got. There's a little bit of was a lot of conspiracy theories going on right now, but it's interesting that some people are just opening up and there's protests going around the world. And I find it weird in the same country. Like next week, I think Vancouver is opening up in a big way, and Toronto's still way behind. And if we're going to see a second wave, and if so, what that might be like. Just my biggest concern is, this talks of like mandatory vaccination. And I don't think that anyone should be forced in a free society to have to put anything in their body, especially if they're not studied properly. But I think a lot of this is going to come to light as well. And there's going to be a bigger discussion around it. So how do you guys feel about ending the lockdown? Are you guys ready to get back to normal? Are you afraid? Like, do you think things will be different? I don't think, this whole social distancing thing can last with these visors and restaurants. And I think it's just pretty ludicrous and crazy. So I guess time will tell. The numbers that I've seen so far, it's similar to flu numbers. The pneumonia numbers have dropped crazy. And, where are those numbers being put? And there's also some interesting therapies that you're not seeing on the mainstream media, something called hydroxychloroquine. And by itself, it does some things, but what apparently it really does is it helps you to utilize zinc, and the zinc in your body helps to sort of fight off bacteria, viruses, things like that. And I wonder why we don't hear about this more in the mainstream media. But there's doctors in Texas. You can find some of these things online where they're sharing their experiences of every single patient they're using is getting better. Whether they're really far down the line, whether they're just have some mild symptoms, usually within 4 or 5 hours, they're seeing improvements. And I wonder why. And also two manufacturing plants that manufacture hydroxychloroquine have burned down in the last week. So something's going on there. Something doesn't want to get out. There's Mr. Gates that, in the Italian parliament this week, they were calling him out saying, who is this guy? He's not a doctor. Why is he dictating what the world should have as far as health? And, they were talking about some of the programs he has in Africa and all the people that are getting hurt. And, I think I would be okay with the vaccines if companies were held liable for damages. I think that for me is the big one, where they placed this Bayh-Dole Act back in the day where the manufacturers would not be held liable for any injuries. And so for me, that's a big red flag. It's like, why wouldn't they be held responsible? That it just means that they wouldn't do as much due diligence on safety. So we'll see how this thing unfolds. It's interesting how, and I guess the big thing here is that when people are talking about these things in Parliament, it's no longer a conspiracy theory. There may be some conspiracy theories attached to it still, but there's a bigger conversation going on. It's like, maybe we need to look into this a little bit more. Also, Trump, I don't know what to make of Trump yet. I think in a lot of ways, I think he's kind of crazy and he says a lot of things that I don't agree with. But it seems like he's the guy who's like sort of just like pushing the gas and trying to bring things to the surface. And he mentioned something interesting the other day, that they have a lot of information on Wuhan that they're going to release, and it's not looking good. So I don't know what that means. I don't know if they're going to find money that went there from different organizations, because I know that the World Health Organization is funded by, Bill Gates and many other countries that the U.S. just pulled back. And again, another report that came out was in Madagascar, and I don't know how much to believe some of these African media outlets, but the two things that came out was that they tested a fruit and a goat, and a few other things, and they came back positive for COVID. I don't know how that's possible, but also that one of them was bribed to put something in one of the medicines for COVID that would create more deaths. Now, I don't know how true that is, but it's kind of disturbing to think that someone like a foundation of Bill Gates would do that. A lot of ties between Gates Foundation and Trudeau and lobbying. So if you dig a little deeper, you can find all this stuff. But anyways, that wasn't the point of this talk. The point of this talk was to talk a bit about getting back to normal. I'm ready. I want to get back to normal. I think I should be able to choose how I can get back to normal. If I'm risking my own well-being, and if someone's high risk, they should be isolating themselves. And I don't want to wear a mask. I feel like it's like putting a muzzle. It's like a sign of like obedience in a way that is, like, hey, you wear this mask to show that you're going to listen to everything we tell you. And most masks don't even, they're not even small enough to stop a virus. So it's like saying like, hey, I'm going to comply with whatever you say. And I think in the aftermath of all this, like, a lot of questions are going to be answered. A lot of businesses are being lost and destroyed. And if it was all for no reason, like, who should be responsible? The World Health Organization numbers are really out to lunch. And I think that's going to come to light as well. So that being said, love you guys. Hopefully I'll see you guys soon at Elemental. Another thing I wanted to chat about was high dose psilocybin experiences. So I don't know if you guys know, psilocybin is also known as magic mushrooms. There's been a lot of studies. There's about 8 companies about to go public in Canada to use psilocybin as a treatment for depression, anxiety, mental health issues. And, I've been following this along. If you guys watched Psyched Out, the documentary where I talk about plant medicines and how they change people's lives. And unfortunately, someone who I've been following for a little while now, Kalindi Iyi, passed away recently, and I think it was due to COVID, which is very sad, but there's not much around his death. But he used to do these really high dose experiences where he'd take like 20 gram plus of psilocybin magic mushrooms. And he'd talk about these experiences where reality would dissolve and he traveled to other universes, and just these crazy explanations of what that's like. And he says, and I'm not encouraging this, but he says he thinks more people should be having these experiences in a controlled setting, because he thinks that's the real AI technology. You take this mushroom and you eat it, and then you have access to like unlimited information, and the more you take, the farther you can go. And then now we're trying to put like computers attached to our brains and all these things, because like there's this ancient technology that you could really have access to the other side. So for my birthday this year, I wanted to see what he was talking about. So on Friday, I did a small ceremony where I ingested 16 grams. And it was probably one of the most intense experiences in my life, like way more intense than ayahuasca for me. Like, ayahuasca is intense. You throw up. It's very visual. And you see like a lot of colors when the DMT is in your body. But this one here was like, after a while, after about an hour, like my mind just dissolved, and I really literally lost my mind for 4 hours. And I had a few people sitting with me. So like, I don't recommend this, make sure, like I really worked my way up to this over years. But when I got there, a few things that I noticed was, I was seeing beyond duality. So I was experiencing pain and pleasure, good and bad, death and life, all at the same time. And it was like the most interesting experience. It's almost hard to put into words. And I caught myself in these loops where I was just like rolling back and forth through my mind, where I could hear myself thinking, but as an observer, questioning reality. And then when that thought or idea or mind would question reality, there was something that was questioning that. And I caught myself in this loop that went on for infinity. Hey, Ritesh. And it was kind of showing me that like, we know nothing about reality. We know nothing about the existence, what we're doing here, what our purpose is. And it showed me a lot about like everything that's going on right now, how like serious we're taking everything. It's like it's not as important as this ongoing experience of life that goes on forever. These are just like I don't know, dramatics, or like the story that we tell ourselves. And it was showing me beyond days and nights and dinosaurs, and it was just like death. Like I died like many times. And in dying, I didn't actually die. My body died, but my consciousness remained, and I could see all of history, like from the beginning of time to the end of time. And it was crazy, and it was scary at times. But although when I got in these loops where I thought I lost my mind, I sort of accepted it, and it was this new reality. And when I could see the duality, it was just like it just made sense. It's just like, oh my god, like this, everything makes sense now. Although it was crazy, so that didn't even make sense. So I'm still integrating this experience. It's something that's very difficult to put into words, and at times I find that challenging because I know there was some really like deep knowledge that I was trying to be shown about reality, and I can't even put it into words, and it's almost like frustrating to like try to like extract it. I think next time if I do this again, I'll definitely have to try to record myself and maybe get someone to prompt me, to ask me, like to try to explain what I'm experiencing. But when I think about in the moment, nothing would have made sense. Any question you would have asked me, it would have just been like I had a blindfold and like that disappeared. And yeah, I just kept questioning, am I alive? Did I die? What is life? Am I alive? And every question would just seem like insignificant because I knew the answer, but the answer didn't even matter. Anyways, so I just want to touch on that a little bit. And Kalindi EE, you can listen to some of his videos online. He has recently passed away, but some super interesting stuff that he talks about. Really smart guy, really well spoken. And apparently there are others out there that are having these experiences and unlocking amazing information and treasures. But again, I don't recommend any of these things. They're illegal in most places. And if you do go down that path, find someone who can mentor you, find sitters who can sit with you, be in a safe environment, all that kind of stuff. Do your due diligence, talk to your doctor, all that, those kind of things that need to be done. But with psilocybin, there's no known toxicity level. Like you can't overdose. Now, if you're predisposed to mental health issues, then there might be some real concerns there, and maybe some interactions with other stuff as well, like like SSRIs or any other heart medication. So again, do your research, do due diligence. And it's not for the faint of heart. I promise you that. It's kind of intense. Yeah, maybe Carol, maybe less. But he's talking about 20 plus. So I'm like just saying, like I've done like the hero dose before, which is 5. In most circles, 5 gram dried mushrooms is a hero dose. Terrence McKenna kind of, I think, coined that term. So I think I went like triple hero just to really see what was out there. And then this week, okay, so my intention going in there was like, why do I always find myself so busy? Why do I, when I sit down, it's like, oh, I need to read a book. Oh, I need to do something. Oh, let me just answer these emails. And I found that even though I find time to meditate, if I'm not actively trying to just chill, my mind cannot chill. And I felt that in the experience, my mind just blew up, just went on overdrive. And it was almost like an unwinding, because the next 2 days, even today, it was like, that pressure to want to keep doing more has like really lessened, And you hear a lot of people's experience to do high dose psilocybin, where even if they have depression or anxiety for like months afterwards, it's gone, like cured. And my intention was to try to slow down. And although it didn't really show me the root of why I feel this way, like I've been trying to like do some work. Like if you guys have heard, Personal Development School is a great tool, our online school. So I've been doing some of the courses and trying to identify like what makes me want to do that all the time. Because it's not just your character. There's programs within you that cause you to have these tendencies and these beliefs. And so there wasn't anything that came out. Like sometimes in ayahuasca, it's like clear, like, hey, here's the answer. Like, or here's why you do this. Now you figure out the rest. So this wasn't like that, but I just feel this sense of calm now. Like this, like the mind is clear, slowed down. I'm doing things at my own pace, not rushing or worrying about anything either. And then I had a dream this morning, which is so funny. I was in a co-ed soccer game, and there was this big lady who was actually really fast and really good for her size. It was a dream. We ended up winning or tying, and I ended up scoring the first goal. And my dad, I remember him saying, like, you got a shit game, you got to do better. And it flashed me back to my childhood, where my dad was the best soccer coach. He would like pick up all the players on the team and drive them. And like, he loved soccer so much, and his way of showing me love was wanting to make me better. And I'm also watching The Last Dance with Michael Jordan, and I'm seeing this like competitive nature, because I'm kind of competitive. And it's like, what wires someone to be like that? And it's programming, usually from childhood. And it's not even through bad intentions, because my dad had the greatest intentions, but he was hard on me because he wanted me to do better. He wanted to be more proud of me. He wanted me to be the star. And I saw how like that is part of the programming that I have in me. That's like, okay, I need to be better. And even if it's not in the conscious mind, the subconscious, like, do more, practice more, study more. And in school, I was also smart. I had some more pressure from both my parents to do well, because they wanted me to do well. And they wanted me to be this chartered accountant and all these kind of things. And now I'm seeing like, okay, like, how do I use the good part of the programming, to keep my drive going, and then, reprogram to feel okay with not having to be so busy. So I'm working on that. And it was in my dreams that this came up. So a really important tool is to have a dream journal. When you wake up in the morning, try to write down whatever are in your dreams, even if you're not doing the work right now, how to sort of reprogram the mind and work on it. Take notes, like, because those dreams have so much information. So your dreams and your emotions are I guess like secret paths or breadcrumbs going back into the subconscious mind and into your soul, your spirit, to unlock these things that are holding you back. And it's amazing when you start to realize that, everything is inside you. And if you start doing the work, you can unlock all of these things. So it's really, really important stuff. So dream journal, and just starting to pay attention to your emotions, what triggers you, what makes you feel certain ways. The last one that I want to share is that last week I just felt inspired to write some songs. So if you come to my Thursday night breathwork class, which I think this week we're going to do on Wednesday, just because it's I got 2 birthdays this week. It's my mom's, well, it's a bunch of birthdays this week. My mom's birthday, my sister-in-law's birthday, a few of my friends' birthday. May is packed with birthdays. But I said I wanted to sing, write some original songs. I've been saying it for many years. I'm going to do it. It's like, okay, if I don't do it before the coronavirus quarantine is over, then I'm never going to do it. So my plan is to write a song a day for this whole week. So by Thursday, I'm going to play one song for you guys live, new, original. So I hope you guys tune in Thursday, 8 p.m. Or maybe it's going to be Wednesday, 8 p.m. Stay tuned. I'll put some posts on here. And if you guys have ever written any music or songs, I just don't know how to do it. Because, like, do you write the music first? Do you write the lyrics first? Is it a combination? Do you find inspiration? So I wrote a few topics that I want to talk about. But if you have any sort of feedback on writing music, I'd love to hear from you guys. And I think that's it. Yeah. Any questions, feedback, things you want to share, please drop a note here, guys. I'd love to hear from you. Maiku, yes. Can't wait to see you soon. Any other comments? Problem is, when I share on Facebook, these posts go everywhere. If you comment on not the original one, I can't really see it. Oh, thanks, Enrique. That's a good point. Let's see. Here's a comment here. What's hero dose? So, Flavio, I don't know if you're in here. Hero dose, like I mentioned earlier, is typically 5 grams. So 16 was way beyond that. Okay, I'm going to let it flow, whatever comes. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And, like, I don't know what I should call these. I think I'm going to call it What Do I Even Know every Monday, because I don't know what I even know. But if you have some interesting names that you think would be good to name this Monday live feed, I'd love to hear from you guys. So a wonderful day. Stay positive. If you're feeling down at all, just check into that feeling. Acknowledge it, recognize it for the power that it has to sort of show you that's something that you need to see. But then let's turn it upwards and see what we want to create, what we want to bring into this week on a Monday. Okay, how do you want to show up? How do you want to react and respond to this week? What's your intention? What do you want to accomplish this week? Let's set something all together now. Just think about it. What do we want to create this week? Hey guys, thank you for tuning in. I will see you guys Thursday. If not, I'll see you back next Monday. Peace.